Hello, and a warm welcome to everyone joining the webinar. My name is Chris Goff, and I'm so excited that you're interested in learning more about my personal coaching program and how it can fast track your success in real estate. Whether you're here because you're seeking to enhance your investment skills, need guidance in navigating the real estate market, or are simply curious about how personal coaching can boost your income, you've come to the right place. Today, I will guide you through my coaching program and demonstrate how it can give you a competitive edge in real estate investing. During this session, we will explore the structure of the program, the techniques used, and the tangible benefits you can expect to reap. My goal is to make this process as transparent and informative as possible. So grab your favorite beverage, perhaps a notebook, and let's explore how personal coaching can transform your real estate investing journey. Welcome aboard. I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm a real estate investor who has had the privilege of closing over 500 deals throughout my career. This experience has given me an in-depth understanding of the industry and the knowledge to spot opportunities that others might overlook. In addition to investing, I've also dedicated myself to coaching others in the field of real estate. It's been an incredible journey helping aspiring investors navigate the complexities of this industry and watching them succeed. Beyond this, I'm a 3-time best-selling author. My books focus on real estate investment, offering practical advice and strategies that have been proven successful. I'm also the co-founder of REI Pro software. This innovative tool was born out of the desire to make real estate investing more accessible and efficient. It simplifies the process, making it easier for both newcomers and seasoned professionals to manage their investments. Venturing beyond real estate, I've also stepped into the world of film as an executive film producer. One such issue close to my heart is the support of continued education for families of fallen soldiers, a cause championed by Folds of Honor. Through my work in the film, I aim to further this noble cause and contribute to making a significant difference in the lives of these deserving families. Above all, I'm passionate about helping others. Whether it's through coaching, writing, software development, or filmmaking, my ultimate goal is to empower others to help them achieve their dreams. I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences and knowledge with all of you. One of the cool things, I had the opportunity to write a book with Brian Tracy. Chris Goff, one of the most sought after real estate educators in the country, spent his whole life helping others succeed in real estate. Brian Tracy, it was actually the second book I bought after Carlton Sheets, believe it or not, for all the old people here, right? I realized that if I don't change the way that I'm thinking, I'm never going to make the money. Years down the road, actually, it was interviewed on TV by Brian Tracy, which is pretty cool. And then to be able to write a book. So very blessed. He's an awesome human being. Just the knowledge you're going to gain here today has been instrumental in generating millions in profits for my students. So if you're looking for compelling reasons to stay tuned, here's a billion. And these are just showing just a few examples, just some important pieces of personal coaching. I think things that people see out there right away. We could talk about the economy and where that is. And I think this is going to be different for a lot of people. So many people look at what's negative out there, right? If we could find 10 things wrong, we'd be happy. That's just how we are. But by understanding these economic cycles, you're going to be able to better predict market trends and obviously make better decisions in your investing. Everybody knows about high interest rates, right? So they could pose a significant challenge for many real estate investors if they're not well-rounded in strategies. You hear it like, hey, if I went and got a mortgage today, could I even rent the property out? So my coaching is going to equip you with strategies to mitigate the impact of high interest rates. Low inventory levels. This isn't in every area, but a lot of people are talking about this. I'm going to guide you how to find these low inventory properties and effectively negotiate these profitable deals. One key point that I want everyone to understand is that you're not looking for houses. You're actually looking for owner situations that determine the sale of the property. And you're not going to find this online, by the way. Pre-foreclosures are on the rise. This is going to present a unique investment opportunity for many of you. I'm going to teach you how to approach and navigate these situations ethically and profitably. To me, this is a niche business because not many investors understand how to connect the dots. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. a lot of people may not be thinking, but what about your retirement? Some of you may be thinking, like, what retirement, right? You're never too young or old to start investing, and it can provide, obviously, a shortcut to building wealth. I could tell you, many of my students, they didn't even get started in real estate till they were after 40 years old. And obviously, real estate can shortcut that process dramatically. Now, how can I give you that competitive edge? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. Number one, which is probably one of the most important things that I see out there that's going to separate you from everybody on the planet, and that is mastering the multiple strategies. Most people know I'm not a one shoe fits all approach kind of investor, and nor should you be. This is crucial because no single strategy is going to work in all market conditions, owner situations, or investment goals. Each strategy has a unique advantage and requires different skills and levels of involvement. So, by understanding and mastering these approaches, you're going to maximize your returns and mitigate risk, equipping yourself to thrive in any scenario. I say that to my students all the time. I want you to be able to talk to any owner that has a problem, and you're going to find a solution for it. All we're doing is literally changing the strategy. And I don't care if you're a novice or you're somebody experienced, maybe looking to diversify the portfolio. This training is going to arm you with the knowledge and skills to make confident investment decisions. And I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. Enhancing your skills and knowledge. I couldn't tell you how many people that I've talked to, they're like, well, Chris, already understand that. And then as we start teaching, they're like, I can't even believe I thought I actually knew this and how to do this. I'm going to help you improve your skills and broaden your knowledge. This continuous learning is going to give you an advantage over others that really aren't updating their skills as often. And because of that, it's going to boost your confidence and motivation. So, as I walk you through what I call the processes of the business, your confidence is going to skyrocket. I see it all the time. Offering objective feedback and perspective. Most of my students, we have this personal relationship and bond, and it's different with all of my students. And this is one of the reasons why I call this personal coaching. This ain't life coaching, but I get it. I get the things that you're going through. Been doing this business for a long time. I understand those personal struggles that we tend to have. You could be that person that is extremely motivated, but won't get out of your own way. Sometimes you'll overanalyze it because of it, and then you talk yourself out of it. But that's where we get to share those personal moments, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, help you set and achieve the goals. But I want to share with you some of the common mistakes that I see. Okay. And I've been doing this a long time. This one right here is probably the biggest. It's what you don't know. I think because the amount of education that's available online and through other places, sometimes we feel that we actually know. And I agree, you probably know the definition. But to me, coaching is a little bit different. I remember having a conversation with one of my students about a month ago, just about a phone conversation that they had with the seller, and our conversation was 45 minutes explaining it. This is what the seller was really trying to tell you, but they don't know. They said that was the most informative conversation they've ever seen. It's understanding the things that you don't know because you haven't experienced it. Talking to the seller. To me, this is probably one of the biggest parts that I spend a lot of time on. You'd be surprised. Like, people all the time, they say, I'm good on the phone. I love talking on the phone. Yeah, but it's not about that. What I'm talking about are things like, you may email me a deal and say, hey, Chris, I just talked to the seller. And I'll say, okay, what did they say? And here's what they said. Yeah, but how did they say it? Because how they said it may actually change the strategy. And when you get to the level that you can instantly change a strategy and talk about something different based on how someone says it, that puts you in a different field, different ball game. Huge, this part right here. Not understanding why. Like, why are you doing it? If I said, as an example, if I said, hey, I need you to go drive the neighborhoods and look for vacant properties. Sure, Chris. And you get in the car and you go do it. But you have no idea why you're doing it. No idea. Versus me saying, hey, I want you to drive in what I call a C market. Now, a C market is what we call the middle price range. Now, I want you to find the neighborhoods that are just below the middle price range. These properties, they're easier to see those distress signs from a vehicle. But you're not always going to get the tall grass, boarded up windows, overflowing mail. I want you to look for personal things. Personal things such as a hose on the side of the house, a reef on the door, a potted plant, kids' toys. I want you to see if the house is really potentially vacant. And the reason why you have to see those small things, it's training your eyes to see the small things, because you have to ask yourself, why in the world would the property be vacant? The owner's probably paying taxes and insurance, hopefully, maybe even a mortgage. Why would they be losing money every single month on a vacant property? Somebody could vandalize the property, somebody could get hurt on the property. Why would they do that? I remember driving in Austin, Texas, and I was with a student, and I said, "Hey, that house right there is vacant." My student said, "Chris, there's a car in the driveway." And I said, "Yeah, but the tag expired 3 years ago." You have to understand the smallest things. It's knowing what to look for. But the key is, why are you doing it to begin with? And most people can't even tell you why. I want to teach you the whys, because if you know more of the whys, you understand it 10 times better. Structuring offers, and specifically multiple offers. Anytime I can go into a deal and say, "Hey, here's my cash offer, here's my seller finance offer, and here's my lease option." If I could create up to those three offers, I already know that I have a 60% chance of the seller saying yes to one of them. Sellers want options, but they don't even understand that there are options. People will look at options as, I have to pick one, but they fail to realize they don't have to pick any of them. But the way that we structure those offers, there's a very specific formula that I do. And every property is going to be a little bit different. Every owner situation is going to be different. And you have to be able to understand how to blend those two together. And when you do that, you're going to increase your chances of getting that deal. And if I could do that for every property I make an offer on, I'm going to generate more income over the year. Think you should find a property first before getting a coach. I have people, I'm like, how do you even know what you're looking for? How to talk to them? How do you run the numbers, right? Kind of goes back to, you don't know what you don't know. At the end of the day, why not start right? I see so many people, they just start wrong. Lack of knowledge on how to put the pieces together. People have heard me say this all the time. You need to understand the executable steps. That's the biggest thing. Okay, I did this, Chris, but now what? Everybody has these walls. They get so far and then a big wall hits them and they're just not sure. And when you're not sure, you don't do it. Joining Chris' mentorship program will ensure your success in real estate. I've come across two other mentors before working with Chris, but no one came even close to Chris's level of expertise. I've gained an outstanding education that's helped me gain a much bigger perspective on real estate and a lot more knowledge on how to be a successful investor. It also helped me accelerate my success in the industry as a businessman in general. He's always been available to me, even if I need to speak to him during the holidays. And I don't always do that, but when we're working on deals, I will recommend that you join. We're actually buying these two. So this deal is actually a single family house and a townhouse. This is set to close this week, by the way. Why am I coaching? Number one, for most people that I work with, it's really the confidence. And I know people say they have confidence, but the more that they learn, the more they realize they don't know anything. How to connect the dots. You have to know what to do. That's what I'm here for, is to teach you that part. Obviously, we talked about talking with sellers, negotiation. To me, it doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it really is. Master deal making, we talked about contracts that scare people. And how do you build this business? I work with students that, hey, just teach me how to flip a house. I work with students that say, hey, I want to make this the biggest thing ever. But I want you to be in the trenches. I want you to learn it so well that you can teach it to a staff and build a company if that's what your goals are. And obviously, this is not a nonprofit business, right? We have to make money. And for most people, that's what it's about. For some of my students, about generating money to do other things. If it's wholesaling or rehabbing or lease options, seller financing, pre-foreclosures, residential or commercial, 90% of your time needs to be spent on lead generation, by the way. This is where you're going to spend the majority of your time because that is the key right there. Understanding that workflow, negotiating skills, follow up systems, marketing concepts, and most importantly, how in the heck do you execute the business? Everybody talks about it, but how many people are teaching you how to execute it? What are the physical things that I need to do in a specific order to get this deal done? To me, that right there can only be done with personal coaching, by the way. You can't be in a group setting because a group setting, what happens is you have people from all over the country working different strategies. People learn differently. If you're in a group type of coaching, you're never really going to learn how to execute it because this is about you, not 10 other people. Here's just a student sent me over very first deal, right? First deal is always a big deal. You're an important part of my journey. Just want to personally thank you for sharing your knowledge and passion with me. It's only the first one, but I have so much momentum. That's where the confidence comes from, right? We got to get that first deal. If you're just getting started, sometimes that first deal is always the hardest deal. We do have a special guest.
My name is Eric Van Gorkum. I'm like you. I was just trying to figure out the real estate world. My background is I'm a professor of biology at Austin Community College in Austin, Texas. And so science is huge for me. Science is everything. Many years ago, I decided I want to kind of spread out my investment portfolio, and real estate sounds like a good idea. So, of course, doing the research, I decided, well, I'll read a bunch of books. And so I was reading books and I was getting so much information, I wasn't really sure what I was doing. And then I decided, well, I'll watch a couple of videos. And so watching quite a few videos online and YouTube, I came across Chris. And I liked the way he taught. He'd pull up a whiteboard and he would draw all the numbers on the whiteboard and explain what was going on. And to me, that resonated quite a bit because for me, that's how I teach my class. I come in and I have a lot of colored markers and I come in and I write and I draw everything on a whiteboard and I draw pictures of the heart and all kinds of things like that. And so it resonated with me. And I'm like, I can learn from this guy. This is who I need. I need a coach. Just like anything you do in life, you have a coach that teaches you sports. You have a coach that teaches you a game. You have teachers that teach you how to write, how to spell. You have coworkers that teach you a project or how to do a project. So we all are going to have and experience some coaches or teachers in our life. And some of those teachers and coaches make huge impacts on our lives, things that we just can't comprehend at the moment, but later on in life, they're just those aha moments that are like, wow. After watching Chris and on his videos, I immediately said, I got to find this guy. So I did my research and I found him. And I said, hey, my name's Eric and I want you to coach me. And he's like, who are you? I'm like, I want to learn. I want to learn how to do this. I need to learn. I've watched videos and I've read books, but I don't know anything. I really, truly don't know anything. So please, can you coach me? Can you teach me how to do these things? Because the books and the videos just don't give you all that nitty gritty detail. Like Chris said, driving a neighborhood. I drove the neighborhood with him and he was right. You look for different things and I just didn't see it. I just saw a house. It's like, yeah, it looks like a house. But he was like, look for the details, look for the tag and the expired car, look for where the trash cans are. Are they positioned correctly? Are they haphazard? Is there toys in the yard? Is there not toys in the yard? Even if it's tall grass, somebody may live there. Maybe their lawnmower's broken. There's just a lot of little nuances that you catch on things like this when you drive in neighborhoods. Knowing how to do the different strategies is huge. So Chris kind of helped me go through that whole process of trying to figure out how to do the things, what to ask, how to talk to the clients. That's a big one. Talking to sellers is huge. It's just, I mean, I'll say, yeah, Chris, I talked to the seller and he goes, all right, well, we'll talk to him. And I just sit back and listen to him. I'm like, I didn't say those kind of things. I'm like, wait, I got to learn how to say that better. I knew the idea, but I couldn't say it right. And if I didn't say it right, it didn't come across correctly. And I'd stumble across my 3 different offers. And I really didn't know what I was saying, difference between the seller finance and a lease option and the cash. I just didn't have that knowledge and confidence. But after working with him quite a bit, I ended up building a lot more knowledge, a lot more confidence. I've done quite a few deals. My first house, I bought outside of Austin. It was a rehab, got it for a good price, got it for 60,000. It ended up being a great, it ended up netting like $60,000 off the house. So it was a win. Did I learn a lot? Yes. I now have 5 rental houses. I have single family homes. I've done some wholesaling. I've done quite a few fix and flips. So I've done quite a few different strategies. I've done seller finance. I've helped some friends actually do seller finance too, trying to acquire a house. So I've done quite a few different strategies. And again, that's because of Chris. He's taught me a lot of these strategies. And again, having that coach to kind of walk you along, to walk with you, to teach you, to basically guide you. And it kind of goes back to that, what he's saying. You got to know the how and the why. And that's the thing I talk about in my class. How does the things work and why does it work? Why are you doing this? What's your goals in life? Do you want to do, you just want to think it's glamorous and go in and do real estate? Fine. If you want to build your portfolio and not be so reliant on the stock market, that's a great thing. Retirement, residual income later on in life, all these things are really important. So you really have to have a goal. Why do you want to do this? And then once you know that you want to do this and why, how do I achieve that? What are the steps I need to do to make sure that I can achieve these goals? And coaching is definitely going to help you do that. It gives you that step up above everybody else that's out there. It gives you that little extra bump, that little extra push, and that little extra knowledge that's going to make you so much better than everybody else that's out there in the real estate world.
Well, thanks, Eric. That was pretty awesome. And you just reminded me, it's everybody's so different too when you teach them. I have to get to know who you are, and how you learn. We have 4 coaching plans. This is not based on level of experience. People will ask me, okay, what's kind of the first thing that you do? The very first thing that I do is we have to talk about your goals. I understand your goals are going to change, but what are your goals right now? What do we want to accomplish? What do we need to accomplish? And this is an opportunity. I'll send a goal sheet to you. Then I look at it and then we review it. We have a conversation over it. Once I understand where your goals are and who you are, how many hours you can dedicate to this, everything. There's so many pieces to this. It's so important. It sounds so basic, but it's actually super important because the next thing, it's going to help me create these game plans. So once I understand where you're at, what you want to achieve with it, that's where I know how to get started. So the very first thing that I do is create a to-do list for you. I want to make sure, number one, are the basic business things set up? What are the most basic things that we have to have for the company in order to generate money? And then once we generate money, then you can expand on that and get bigger, better things as far as your marketing, and put more marketing out there, do this, add this, get a sign for your car, whatever it may be. I want to kind of come in this simplified for those that are getting started. The individuals that join my coaching that already have a business established, I want to review the basic pieces that you already have in place. That will help me create a to-do list. The next important part is the actual strategy. What is the actual game plan to get started with that strategy? I like to start off with 1 to 2 strategies, and then, of course, we're going to build upon that. But the strategy game plans are not something we make available to anyone because that game plan is specific to you. The strategies are all the same, right? Wholesaling is wholesaling, seller financing is seller financing. But how do you execute that business? And then I'm going to give you a schedule because there's so many people, they wake up on Monday morning. It's like, what do I do? I want to give you a schedule to follow. And of course, you could change and modify that schedule based on, do you have a job? Are you doing this full time? What are your hours here? We're going to continually communicate. We're going to do this by phone, text, obviously email, Zoom. There are some things I do by Zoom because I want to personally show you. There are some things we can do by phone. There are some things that we do by email. If you have basic questions, things of that nature, shoot me an email. If we're working on a house or you have a potential deal, we need to talk about it right away. If I want to show you how to run comps, create offers, I will do a Zoom. I already understand what you're going to need, but for you to actually have my personal cell phone and email, you have direct access to me. Now, here's what I tell people. Just don't call me 10 times a day. I like to start off at minimum once a week. We're going to start by building a foundation. As we get deals, that's where you can't wait till next week. You need to talk to me right away because the whole point of doing this is to do deals. And that's where the personal support is. I allot X amount of time out of my schedule to fulfill the limited coaching spots that I have. And I already know there's overflow on that. Okay. So you're going to have direct access to me. You do not talk to anybody in our office. You do not talk to some paid coach that works for me. You're going to talk directly with me. And that's huge. You're talking to the guy, right? So that's the good part because you're going to get an instant answer on what you need to do. Or maybe you just have a simple question, or maybe I need to explain something a little bit further. Whatever that is, you're going to have direct access to me. I'm also going to give you my home study course. We do not sell this, by the way. It is not in REI Pro. We haven't even released this to the public. This home study course is going to go through the various strategies that I'm talking about. Some people like to read, some people like to watch a video. It's going to be in a PDF form because I'm not going to make mass amounts of these. I want to personally deliver this to you by email. You'll have access to this. This home study course actually goes through a lot more than just talking about a strategy. Okay, so it really is from the beginning of what we do, and then really understanding the foundation of each strategy. Because if you don't understand the foundation, it's going to be very difficult for you to succeed in this. So, foundation work has to be set right up front. And I get it. If you have experience, that's fine. That's what we're going to talk about in your goals. But this particular course is going to be available to you. You will get free access to REI Pro for the plan that you're on. This is a mandatory tool that I throw in because we're going to need the data. We're going to need the systems. We're going to need the lead gen. We're going to need a lot of things in REI Pro so you can understand how this business is actually executed. And of course, you have to have the data, but it's also how do we find deals? What filters are we using in my specific area, right? Because that's going to be a little bit different. Your goals will be different. That will dictate how we use REI Pro. We're also doing, and this is going to be in our 9 and 12-month plans, but we're going to do a 2-day conference in Destin, Florida. I do have students that have been to previous events. I can tell you this is an awesome event. Number one, we don't even allow that many people to be in the event because if you have hundreds of people in a workshop or an event, you can't actually educate for 2 full days. This is all about education. And you're going to meet so many awesome people here. You're going to meet a team. We'll have guest speakers. And just the networking side is going to be huge. When I got started, I was like, oh no, I'm not telling anybody how to do this, right? But I realized that it takes people. And if you can network with like minded people that understand how they're being taught, and they're being taught similar, processes and strategies, it's just going to help you. We're also going to do in our 9 and 12-month plan a podcast interview. Now, why do we do this? This is for you because you're going to be able to share this with other people because I need you to get exposed. If you don't have any credibility, this is going to be huge for you. In our 12-month plan only, we do have a marketing package. We're going to go in and create your business, basically, the whole thing from a marketing angle. Need that logo done, your business cards, postcards, your social media design, and a website. We only do this for the 12-month package. We do not even offer this separately. This is the person that's like, you know what, Chris, this is what I'm doing, and I need a business in a box. This one's huge. In our 12-month plan, I also throw in 2-day infield training. This is where I fly into your hometown during these 12 months. And I will tell you when those 2 days are because I'm not going to come in the beginning because I need you to build on foundation stuff. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking about things we could talked about over the phone. This right here is a huge eye opener. Just like Eric said, it's just driving in the car and not seeing something. Or how do you say that to a seller? I don't really rehearse stuff. It's because I know it. It's the experience that comes out when I'm faced with a situation. So when you get to see that live and see through my eyes, everyone says it's an eye opener, and I agree. And your confidence is just going to be huge because the hardest thing to teach is to see through someone's eyes. with me physically being there for 2 full days, it's a huge eye opener. And this was just one student that we did infield training with. There you can see me and Steve there. Seller financed this property, purchased it for 900 grand, put 60 in it, and he rents it out 3 to 5,000 a week, 8 to 10,000 in monthly cash flow. But by seller financing it, he didn't have to go to the bank. He didn't have to put a ton of money down on this property like you would if you had to go to the bank. And if you went to the bank today, you may not even be able to get the numbers to work. So by seller financing, I'm going to teach you how to go find those deals. But the seller finance, it was huge, 500,000 in equity. And then he sent me a text after this deal. And I'm not going to read the whole thing just for time's sakes, but another $290,000 profit. Was coaching a difference? Was coaching worth it? It takes one deal to do well. Obviously, we have testimonials. We wouldn't be in this business for this long if we didn't. These are successful people, but I want to point out that these are just average people. They're just passionate about real estate. They needed guidance. They needed support. They needed someone to kind of pave the way, hold their hands, and walk them through the process. I want to just answer some common questions that I usually get on these calls, as you may be thinking these same questions. And the first one is, what is your success rate with students? Although I don't track this because success is measured in so many different ways. I've mentioned before, I've had students that, hey, just teach me how to flip a house because I don't want to financially get killed. And I think success is going to be defined in a different way for a lot of my students. Does it matter where I live? Like, Chris, do you really know my market? I don't need to know your market because that's not what this business is about. It's about if you are in divorce and you live in Nashville, Tennessee, that same feeling of divorce is the same if you're in Austin, Texas. It's still a divorce. I can use REI Pro to understand your market, but you need to understand that it's not necessarily about the market. It's really understanding how to find those situations, how to handle those situations, how to talk to people in those situations, and how do you make a deal? To me, that's the most important. Although I've had students in a lot of different states and areas, I can't promise you I've been to your area. How much money should I set aside each month for marketing? Now, again, this is going to be so individual, and this is really based on goals. If I had to just generalize this and say, okay, what would be a good number to get started? I would say 500. I do work with students that can't do 500, and we work other ways around that. I also work with students that spend thousands of dollars every single month. So until I really understand where you are, your situation, it's kind of hard to just give you that answer. Will you help me run the numbers? That's the whole point because you'll probably mess it up if I don't. I have to show you how to run the numbers, not just running comparable sales, but how do you generate the offer? How do we estimate these costs? How do we sell this property? What numbers are we looking at? What are other considerations I should be thinking about? Running the numbers, I have to show you. Can I upgrade my coaching plan? People ask me this so much because I already told you that a lot of people that upgrade is about 90%. Here's what I tell everyone. If I have time, yes. I offer 4 distinct coaching plans tailored to meet the unique needs of both beginner and seasoned investors. These plans span over 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, each designed to provide comprehensive guidance and insights into the world of real estate investing. Each plan offers a progressive learning path, ensuring you gain the right skills at the right time in your investment journey. However, please note that spots are limited in order to maintain the quality of personalization of my coaching sessions. So don't delay, hurry and inquire about these coaching plans on my website. Then schedule a call with me to discuss how my personal coaching can help you fast track your success.